We'll show that again. Full deflections all the way around. So our job, guys, is to take this to an irresponsible degree so that you don't have to.
Hello pilots, welcome back to Motion RC. I'm James, and today we have a special video for you guys. As you can see in the title description, this is a torture testing. So really what this is a behind the scenes look at just one of hundreds of flights that our design team and our manufacturer's design teams put these aircrafts through before they ever leave the warehouse and before they ever arrive at your doorstep. What you're gonna see in this video, since the AL37 is the product that's on everyone's mind, this video was filmed way months back before these were ever in full production. But you'll see Alpha, our lead designer, putting this aircraft through aggressive flying characteristics, trying to land as hard as he can, trying to make as many mistakes as some pilots would do just to see how the airframe holds up. So you're gonna see, again, super aggressive maneuvers that we don't recommend you ever doing with your AL37, but the beauty is we do it so you guys don't have to. A couple months back, we did an article, How Foam Aircraft Are Made, and it got a lot of traction. People seem to really enjoy that behind the scenes look. So hopefully in the future, we're gonna have more and more behind the scenes stuff from our design team, from our manufacturers and such, of all the products we sell, because we think people are really interested in that. I know I am. I'm interested. Whenever Alpha shows me stuff behind the scenes, I'm just as excited to see it as any average customer, because again, I just love to fly as well and see how it's made, because I don't get to tour the warehouses and things like that. That's not part of my job, but part of me gets jealous seeing all the stuff they get to play with, and the fact that right now he's probably doing these same types of stress tests with products that aren't even available yet, that you guys won't see for another year or 2 or 3 years, in that sense, is really, really cool. So it was exciting to be able to see an airliner do things it shouldn't do. Obviously, the way you're going to be flying this airliner is hopefully as scale as possible, doing nice slow flight, enjoying leisurely flying and those nice wheelies on landing. But if you ever want to see what an airliner can do behind the sticks of a guy on our design team like Alpha, here you go. Take a look.
All right, here we go, continuing with Flight 193. Destructive testing. This is a tailwind takeoff. No flaps, gear is gonna come up, and I'm immediately gonna bank and crank the aircraft. While the gear is still coming, I'm gonna roll, and we're inverted. Again, the objective of this flight and the flights in this series are to demonstrate how we stress test these aircraft. Can reduce to 0 here. A little bit of back pressure, and the aircraft returns to docile control. Cruising at about 30%. This is how you should be flying the airplane. In this case, obviously, this is an AL37. It's a nice and docile airliner. What you do not want to do is this. If you did, the aircraft would survive, as we see, reduce 30%, and we return to normal flight. If I see any of you doing this at the field, I'll be very disappointed. We'll show that again. Full deflections all the way around. So our job, guys, is to take this to an irresponsible degree so that you don't have to. You're never going to want to fly any of our aircraft, especially something like the AL37, like this. Push, 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 and let's snap the aircraft and recover. You know, you're not going to want to do that to this type of airplane. We're trying to see if we can snap those wings, see if we can induce a stall. I reduce my inputs, and the aircraft returns to normal flight. We'll do that again. I'm going to be reducing the landing gear as I deploy my flaps. So the gear is coming down, full deflection. We can see the gear doors coming down there. And no problem. With flaps out, in fact, the aircraft, as we see, dampens my inputs. There's no gyro on this aircraft. It's a DX9 with a Spectrum 7-channel unstabilized receiver. But with flaps out, we can see I can bang my sticks and still not get the aircraft to roll as aggressively as it was with flaps down. So we'll bring the flaps back up and my gear up. Gears coming up. We're coming up on our 3-minute useful flight time warning. Let's roll the aircraft all the way around, full elevator. Power up again. Heck, let's do that again. Roll, point our nose down. Let's pretend we're an F-22. Do a flat rudder turn.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
And light up that Sukhoi in our HUD. We'll go gear down here. The wind is playing nicely for this type of test. It's picked up, so we're going to do a tailwind landing with even more wind than we had, even more tailwind than we had on takeoff. So the objective here, no flaps. We're going to come in nice and fast, nice and hot. As you've already seen in our normal flight videos, the aircraft will settle in really nicely. So I'm going to come nice and high, hot. I'm going to try and bang this landing gear. Let's avoid the vertical. And boom. Bleed all of our energy out. Avoid the Lexus. He's wondering what's going on. And we'll taxi back. We're going to check that battery. So as we've seen here, guys, you're never going to be flying the aircraft like we do. We certainly hope you don't. You're exceeding not the design limits of the aircraft, but frankly, you're just exceeding responsible flight. We do it so you don't have to. We need to observe how the aircraft behaves. I want to go a little deeper to show you that one of the other tests we like to do is we scuff our impellers. So as we see there and here, the impellers are scuffed. We'll put a file to them to abrade some of the edges. The idea being to try and get these impellers to shatter during flight so we can observe how the aircraft behaves in that sense. In other videos, we also test for control surfaces. We'll unplug one of them and test for maximal deflection on flaps or asymmetric deflection. So all those types of things are what we do here at Motion RC. Now let's also, again, flown on an Admiral 6S 5000. We'll do a live battery test for you here. And we are at, I've got polarized glasses on. It is 3.82, 3.78, 3.78. So two 2.74 volts on the pack, between 3.78 and 3.82 volts. So could have flown a little longer even with that type of spirited flight. Checking throughout the aircraft, we don't see any structural damage. We were able to plop down the landing gear nice and hard, so always like to see that as well. Though, as you've seen in our normal flight videos, the aircraft will wheelie like this, nice and gently. It wants to wheelie. We still do know that sometimes we land it like that, and we want to observe that obviously these are pop-off. This uses this type of connection that we use in all of our MWS ordnance, and we're looking for other types of things. We'll do that again because that was kind of fun. So that's your destructive testing, just a quick peek at what we're doing here at Motion RC. If you enjoyed this video, if you like a look at the behind the scenes of what goes into your favorite model aircraft, whether it be the all-new AL37 or our F-22 or Spitfire or any of the other products that we've got online, feel free to comment below, like, subscribe, and let us know what you think.